What's going on, everybody? This is Dan French. This is another French Workbench podcast. We have quite a really good studio today right now with people in the studio, actually. Not a good studio. It's a good studio, but we have a lot of people in studio. It's not a lot of room around here. Got so many people in here. We got the same people from last week, and we're going to talk to these gentlemen today. And I want to go over this with everybody about credit and how credit is a big component of getting into a home today and how this could potentially really affect you as a homeowner, especially in a market where we have declining home affordability. And we're going to put those two together. We have credit going on where can you get a home with a certain credit score? And even if you have subpar credit or low credit, what is your chances of getting into a home? And so we're going to talk today about that. I got my same guys in here with me, and we're going to go over quite a few different scenarios with credit. I'm going to talk to Brett Jenny here first. Brett, what's going on today, buddy? How are you?
Rabies.
Rabies. Good morning, everybody out there. What's going on?
No, I'm doing all right, man. I'm just dealing with you. Usual life's
dude. Where's your
intricacies?
Where's your glasses, man?
I decided to take them. I had to read a text from the dealership. Surprise! Warranty doesn't cover the battery. Oh, imagine that.
Put those glasses on, man. I want to see that real quick.
You want to see that?
Yeah. What happened today, man? You had some issues going on with your new car, right?
I want to see it. There we go.
Yeah. Look at you.
There I am.
Iceman right there.
Look at me.
That's Iceman.
That's Iceman, bro. Blowing up to that Bitcoin right there.
Right. So what happened with your car today, man? You had some issues?
Yeah, no, just the Jeep won't start and blah, blah, blah. Warranty's supposed to cover it. It's been a whole hassle. And now they just texted me and said, oh, I talked to your warranty company and they don't cover the battery.
They don't cover the battery.
They don't cover the, what do you cover then?
Right. So it's crazy. So you went down there and they don't cover the battery. So then what did you have to do, man? You had to tow your car?
No, I mean, it's already there, but they go to work on it. You need to let them know about the warranty ahead of time. So I'm trying to get that taken care of, and now the dealership just said they don't, So now, as soon as we get out of doing this podcast, I'm going to make a call to my dealership and let them know my thoughts.
Yeah, you're going to let them know.
And then we're going to go from there.
Is it going to be a pleasure?
And they're right down the street, so I'm all about stopping in and saying hi.
It's going to be a pleasure.
That's how I go about my business sometimes. When 3 days is enough, it's time for me to say, how you doing?
Yeah. We also got in studio Mr. Zach Martinez. What's going on, buddy? Mr. Cactus himself.
Yes, Mr. Cactus. I'm 24 now.
He's 20. You're 24.
Oh my God,
I'm
24.
Yeah, my
Moving
birthday.
on up.
My birthday was Thursday.
Just a real veteran now, kid.
Oh yeah.
What'd you do for your birthday, man? Did you hang out or did you just stay at the Cactus?
he was celebrating the Cactus lifestyle.
No, it was pretty cool. A couple of my friends. I mean, we went out for Cinco de Mayo.
And then back to the Cactus lifestyle.
Back to the Cactus. Oh yeah. But I say that was kind of like my birthday plans.
Cool, man.
And then on my actual birthday, my girlfriend and I, we did the Maverick helicopter tours over the Strip. And
oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. First time on a helicopter. So
really, first time, huh?
Yeah. First time.
What'd you think about it, man? Were you scared?
Not really. I mean, I used to be really afraid of heights, but I mean, I thought it was really cool. Just the view, seeing the entire Strip at night. I took a really cool picture. I'm like, I should be a photographer now.
Who'd you go with, man? Was it just you and your girl, or?
Yeah, it was my girlfriend and I. I didn't realize there were 6 people at a time. So there was a couple other people from like Miami, and I'm like,
oh, hey.
I was like, who are you guys?
You guys 6 feet apart?
Yeah. No. I mean,
off the side or what?
Well, in the helicopter, there was the pilot in his seat, and then my girlfriend and I were on the 2 seats to the right of him.
You can't get Corona in the air.
Oh yeah, no,
it's proven.
It's proven, scientifically proven. Yeah, and then the 4 people in the back. So it was really cool. It went a little quick, but I mean, I loved it. Yeah. I wanted to record everything, but then I also wanted to just sit there and just take it in. I'm like, this is awesome.
It's sick, right?
Yeah, I mean, looking at Vegas coming in from an airplane, I love seeing Vegas at night, but being on a helicopter, just going over it, it's completely different.
It's just you're just hovering, right?
Yeah.
It's like you got your weightless almost, right? I mean, you're
seriously,
still,
yeah.
It's crazy. So it's like any little maneuver, you could feel it, right?
Yeah. I mean, how they turn too. It's like you feel the G-force. I was like hanging on. I'm like, oh shit. No, but I mean, it was really cool, and how low you feel compared to being on an airplane, like
yeah.
Beautiful. I'll show you guys a picture in a little bit, but
we got Mr. Joe Dragon. I was going to introduce him, and I wanted to bring him over. He went to a Vegas Knights game last
we
night,
went
right?
Back to the Knights game.
How was that, man?
It was awesome.
Yeah, you guys had. Did they win? I didn't even look at it.
Oh yeah, went to overtime.
Went to
Yeah.
A
overtime.
little bit of fight going on.
What do they call that thing? They call that thing what, the Fortress or something down there? Is that what the name
You've
of
never
it?
been?
I've never been.
Oh,
man.
you gotta go.
dude.
Well, I guess this is the first time since COVID.
Yeah.
I think they opened a month ago, 20%. Yesterday was 50.
Oh, wow.
And like Brett was saying, it's impossible to get COVID around 20,000 people. 40,000, you're doomed.
You're doomed.
As long as you follow protocol.
You're right.
I tell you,
the game's over, and then people just get in the stairs and pushing each other down.
I'd tell you a COVID joke, but you probably wouldn't get it.
Well, go ahead and say it.
Can't leave
Tell us a
painting.
joke, man. Tell us what it is. You can't bring something up, man, and then not say it. What's
I
going on?
got it. I got
That
it.
is the joke.
Oh, that
I
is-
would tell you a COVID joke, but you probably
Oh,
wouldn't
I
get it.
now. I get it
I
now.
still don't get it.
Hey, I laughed. Okay, I laughed. I caught on to
You
it.
got Dan's like, tell us
I'm
a
like,
joke.
tell us a-
Seriously.
What is your joke, man? What is your joke? So, let's go ahead and talk about today's topic. All right, let's get serious here in the French Workbench serious room. So what's going on? So let's talk about credit and how credit is a big part of will you get, into a home today, because there's a lot of people that maybe are in subpar credit or maybe on the borderline, they have a lower credit score. We all know that people that have, a 620 or higher, 620 usually for most banking institutions is the starting point to get into getting approved for a loan. And usually you're okay if you're doing an FHA loan, but the problem is that there's not a lot of opportunity with the county limit here in Las Vegas when you have a 620 or 640 score. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get a conventional loan. It's just those people typically lean towards getting an FHA loan.
So how does that work? Break that down a little bit more. So you're talking about people's credit score, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody's 620 to 6 whatever, they can qualify for FHA and conventional, or conventional, what's the minimum? Like, break that down quick.
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, it's like this. You have a buyer that comes in and they're saying, I got a 620 score, and we're going to look at both ways. You could technically get approved for a conventional loan if you put 20% down or if you qualify for mortgage insurance. The problem is when you do a conventional loan at a 620 or 640, man, your rate's going to be way up here.
Gotcha.
And also your mortgage insurance,
Like
way
what?
up here. So what does that do for you as a consumer? It lowers the amount of home you can buy because your rate's up, meaning your payment's up. So now you're going.
So anytime anybody does less than 20%, there's PMI?
Yeah, anytime somebody
Post-mortgage insurance. Explain what that is.
Yes, on a conventional loan, you're right. So,
Okay.
so when you go on a conventional loan, which a lot of people are looking to buy. Now, VA, you can get started on a 620. So I'm not going to say you can't buy a home as a veteran. That's actually a perfect opportunity, right? But we're looking at like what FHA buyers are going up against, which is a lot of our buyers. Not a lot of people are veterans. We have a lot of veterans that get approved, but we still have a high volume of people that are FHA buyers. So when you look at FHA as a whole, FHA loans are really suffering right now. People that are looking
Big time.
Yeah. People,
big time.
Yeah.
I mean, and even though technically, someone's either qualified or they're not, the overall mentality as far as sellers is they look at FHA as less than conventional.
Absolutely.
For loan approval.
Right.
And following through with the loan. And the reality is, you still need to qualify for both. It's just, that's the mentality. So in a seller's market, absolutely.
So here's go ahead.
Yeah, what's the, Dan, rate if you have a 640 credit?
Well,
What are they offering interest?
Yeah, it really depends on what the credit score is, but also what program you use. Like for FHA, it's a little bit more forgiving, so the rate's going to be not as bad. But if
Any
you go,
idea what the average is right now?
I would say anywhere
Guess?
from like 2.99 to 3.25.
That's still not crazy.
Yeah, that's not
That's not crazy.
that's not a bad score at all.
640, yeah. Because you weren't getting that 10 years ago.
No, I mean, people always look at what's going on today. What's going on today in today's market, and it's crazy when you go up an eighth or a quarter of a point. We've had this discussion where people just really retract from the market. Wait a second, eighth of a point? That's like maybe $20 on a $250,000. I know we're not doing $250,000 deals a lot, but you know what I mean. It's not a huge separation.
Even on a $400,000 loan, it's what, $30?
No, I mean it's probably
40?
closer to like 50,
Okay.
$60, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the point is, yes, you're losing money, but it's still comparable, just like what Joe said. about where the market was at before, 10%, 12% in today's world.
Absolutely.
It's crazy good, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the thing we want to talk about is credit and how it can disqualify you. And so I want to talk about a little bit about what you guys know about credit. I want to know what your thoughts are with credit and what you guys think the deciding factor is when it comes to credit score or credit rating. Now we look at like Credit Karma or Experian or these places that do your, you have that one credit report that you can pull. So, when you look at a 620 score on an FHA loan, that's passive, right? You can go below a 620 on some of these programs, but a lot of times you're brokering it to another bank. These are banks that are like niche products, right? That they go and they just do those style type of loans.
What would be their incentive to want to do an area of business that everybody else in that business doesn't really want to do?
Risk and profit. The higher risk, the more profit. The higher rate.
They charge higher interest rates.
Yep. They charge higher.
So they're
interest.
willing to take that risk.
They're willing to take the risk, and then they have additional overlays. Where it's like, hey, you got to meet additional things besides just a general or
No
conventional.
different than throwing a hand down on blackjack, right? What do you have? 48%, so you can get 100% return.
Yeah.
But they got the better.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely. So,
well, they wouldn't be in business if they weren't.
yeah,
Didn't have a better
They know
hand.
what they're doing.
Yep.
they know exactly.
Town
what
wasn't built on winners.
Oh man.
Well, some.
So we all know you bought a car. Everybody buys things with credit, and I want to talk a little bit about what people look at when they look at their credit score. A lot of times when you go to Credit Karma or like we said, Experian, it's always highly inflated compared to a mortgage lender for the most part. And the reason why that is because there's overlays that the company or the bank that you're dealing with, the lender, that they put on it. So it's more conservative. So a lot of people will be like, you know what? I just looked at Credit Karma and my score's up 20 points. And that's fine. I mean, it might be up. And again, we take the middle score as a lender, but you have to look at what are we pulling your credit as? Because we're going to take a more conservative approach. Most lenders do. So sometimes it's great. It keeps you on the apps. There's a different algorithm that they use. But the reality is...
Yeah, that's the thing that's kind of messed up. I mean, even being in real estate 16 years.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the criteria or algorithm of paying this, but only paying a percentage of that and leaving it on for 3 months? And that, like, it's crazy. Like, that's kind of stupid, man.
It is.
Like, why,
It is.
Like, why isn't there one common, like, denominator of standard and everything is based or minused off of that?
Yeah, there's like a lot.
I mean, I know.
It's like if you
It's not complicated. All humans do the same effing things, so.
So when you look at one thing, and I just want to say that when you talk about the credit situation and what people are looking at to get approved, a lot of people don't understand that when they go to these, and I'm not going to throw names out there, but I'm just going to throw one, Lexington Law and places like that.
Oh,
these credit agencies.
dealt with those
I'm not
guys
throwing
before.
any names out there.
Yeah, right.
That's throwing.
But what I'm trying to say is that in this situation, they always say, well, you might want to delete this credit or delete this trade line, right? Because it's a collection account.
Yeah.
Or you might want to change something which has no impact on your credit score. And I think that's the big part of what I'm trying to explain is sometimes you're doing stuff that's not necessary.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're looking at things that have a different algorithm. So I don't know. I think for credit, what is your thoughts on this? We'll talk to you, Joe. What do you think about credit, man? Do you think that when you pull your credit online, is it accurate to you?
I haven't done it for a while. Yes, we've done some reports as far as what, they say any issues are at. My experience, keep it as simple as you can. You want to build your credit, keep it as simple as you can, right? Because you might fall into airline miles or something like that. They give you some perk, which is nice. But credit agencies will reduce your credit if you close a line because they're saying that now you're using more of your credit than you were before, even though that's backwards, right?
Yeah.
But how they get there. Keep things simple. Try to keep payments on one line and whatnot. I think it's going to do the best effect that you can. Once you get kind of like a bunch of stuff out there, it gets kind of chaotic and then messes your score, whether it should or shouldn't, in my opinion.
I think, too, like you look at a conventional loan that we talk about, right? Brett's over here laughing. You look at a conventional loan, a lot of times you're writing contracts. Brett knows this. You're writing contracts where, they're not even putting FHA or VA buyers in the contract. They're saying conventional only. And this is where you get that disconnect where if you have a good credit score, right? You're good. You have a decent credit score, then you qualify for conventional loan.
Yeah, when you fill out a listing, there's a thing on the MLS when you go to put the listing on the MLS.
Yeah.
That you put down what kind of financing that the seller will and will not accept.
Yeah.
And some will just be like, cash conventional, that's all I want to entertain. And they have a right to as a seller.
Yeah. What do you think, Zach? I mean, you go through the same thing too. Like when you write this up, are you seeing the same thing where you're writing it only conventional only, or if you're making an offer, is the listing agent saying conventional loans only?
Yeah, no, that's happened tons of times,
Especially in this market.
Oh yeah, 100%. I actually closed on a house back in January.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, but
Who'd you use for your financing? Just playing.
hey, I'm gonna step out.
Congratulations on your sale this year.
Man, I'm just playing.
Just kidding, dude.
I didn't even know you. Okay, I didn't know you at the time.
I'm just
I wasn't on the
playing,
team
man.
yet.
Congratulations on your one
Oh
sale.
gosh,
Sure.
I closed it.
I'm just
I closed
kidding.
the house on my birthday,
I'm
so
kidding.
that was
Hey,
good.
No,
there you go.
Listen, Zach's a closer, man.
I know, dude. I'm
He
just.
gets coffee, bro. He's a closer, okay?
Hey, how else would I have coffee, guys? Come on.
Look at
Everyone's
that.
got to
Common
take
sense.
a beating and harassing like the rest of us, then we will move our way up in line, all right? Damn it, shut up.
Hey, it's because I'm young. I get it.
That's right.
I get it.
You're going to enjoy it, okay?
Anyway, so yeah, my client, he sent me the house. Like obviously I had him in a property search. It was a VA buyer and he saw this house on Zillow, right? You know, buyers are always going to look on Zillow, Realtor.com and stuff. And he's
I
like,
look
hey,
like every other day.
right.
There you go.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. He sent me the house. I was like, hey, what about this? Looked it up. Of course, they only wanted conventional and cash. The price point was like $325. Like it was, you know, whatever. But anyway, I called the listing agent up and then kind of asked what the deal was.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, you know, my seller really only wants to entertain cash offers, conventional loans. But, you know,
I got a
what do you guys
question.
have?
I got a question.
Yeah, what's
Why? Like it goes into escrow, right? The bank gives you the money. Why do you care if you're
It's
the
just
seller?
perceptive. It's just perception. In reality, it's just perception. A lot of it.
What do you mean? Why do I care when I get cash in my
Because
bank?
you're
Why do
trying
I-
to sit there and you're trying to make a point of saying it's kind of invalid to have for that seller to have that, frame of mind. And I'm telling you, you're right. It's just a
No,
mentality.
because I hear it all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I don't
that's what I'm
understand
saying.
why
That's
do-
what I'm saying. It's
yeah.
not reality. It's just perception.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but perception's reality.
I guess could they lose? Could they? Are they worried of like it's not going through escrow? Like it'll
They
fall
think
out?
they think that the buyer is less qualified.
So they're afraid.
They
that
think they
it'll
have less
fall out.
money in the bank. They think it's just kind of an overall perspective of the borrowers.
So does the risk-
one borrower, yes. So one borrower is more of a risk they think than the other because they think they have maybe less money, they make less money, they don't have as good a credit
Okay.
score.
And risk in terms it
Yes.
goes into escrow and they're not going to get the money when it closes.
In reality, it's not going to really
It's already-
have.
it's
Yeah,
already there. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
But it's just that mentality.
Okay,
That's
I
all
guess,
it
I
is.
guess that explains it. Maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is you're right, but that's
Yeah.
That's just how it
it's
is.
mentality. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, seller's going to cash out. They're going to get their money for their
and
property.
you don't want to start then and start arguing with your client.
Right.
You want
Well,
them
I
to
feel
like you.
When I sell my house,
They're paying you.
Don't give me Euro Monopoly money, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Give me some Benjamins, and we'll move on. But,
Yeah.
right. So, like,
Well,
it's my
well,
only-
No,
We'll hit our own ways.
and a lot of sellers don't mind, but some do.
Okay.
And in this market, you're going to bring them out the ones that do, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you look at the credit situation. So a lot of people come to me and they're like, "Well, how do you increase your credit score, right? Okay, let's say you're at a 620 or a 640 and you want to qualify for a conventional loan." And I always say that barometer is like right around 680. That doesn't mean you're going to get that top tier pricing, but it means that you're going to get a little bit better chance of getting a good mortgage insurance, a decent interest rate. And so we do the credit simulator, and a lot of times people don't know that lenders have this option, but sometimes things on your credit is not necessary to pay off, like your collection accounts. What's going on over here?
No, we're just all snacking. You're talking. All
hear
you're talking
you.
is crunch,
Everybody's
crunch.
crunching over
That's
here.
why I'm smiling for it, because I'm looking at him trying not to be I'm here myself.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Hey, man,
'cause
you bring in the Scooby snacks. Like, you're damn right we're going to eat them.
I tried to be quiet. I was like moving my mouth away from the mic, and I look over and I just see both of you guys. Just,
Everybody's crunching.
Not me, dude.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all good. So going back, you look at that 680 credit score. The thing is, sometimes on your credit, you don't need to do things on your credit that people tell you to do. And you're paying a monthly fee on it. So it's good as a lender if you have that option to run a simulator, because then it tells you this is what could be done. Now, it's unrealistic though sometimes where people get into contract and then they're trying to increase their score right away. You know, like let's say they're like, hey, I got into a contract.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I get people that get into contract and then they try to flip it to me and they go, what's the problem? And I go, look, here's the problem.
What's the problem? It's like when people sit there and like don't want to buy I send them a list of homes and they turn around like, no. I'm purposely sending you homes that aren't on I'm not sending you homes that aren't on the market because I don't want to sell you a home.
Yeah.
I want to make my job harder. Anyways, go ahead.
You're absolutely right. So 73% of people out there that have family members with good credit own a home. Isn't that crazy? Family members that own a home. 81% of the people that are being turned away are new home buyers. They're first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
And so there's a lack of education, but also going into a market like this, they're I hate to say it, but they're kind of they're in a bad position because you have people that maybe have established credit or maybe have better credit, conventional loans or what we see.
Sometimes people's timing in life
Terrible.
is horrible or perfect. Like I've had some clients who just happen to buy a house at the right time in the market here in Vegas because that's when they needed to buy a house. Could go buy a house, and it happened to be in the right year at the right time. And now, you know, as far as like maximize, obviously, you've lived in a house for 10 years, you're going to make more money, whatever it is. But I'm talking about like for the amount of time that they lived here to it go into instant escalation mode.
Yeah,
like they timed it perfectly.
Absolutely.
For no other reason than they just got lucky.
It's
and
true.
it's the same thing with like costing yourself money in life too.
I feel like that's investing though.
Right?
Well, yeah, but it is. And like I forgot who you had in the show a while ago. This female, she said, I feel that, you know, basically anytime you couldn't afford to buy a home is a good time to buy a home. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife about that. When people are, in my opinion, when people are doing something, like everybody's doing something like buying or whatever, you should be doing the opposite.
Yeah.
When everybody flips, that's when you start buying.
You know what you should do right now, ideally? Because I have plenty of buyers that I've sold to who have a lot of equity right now. And they all call me and say, well, you know, I'm saying, yeah, but you're going to be turned around and you're going to be buying into that same market where you're getting top dollar as a seller. So ideally, sell your house. Who's that?
Oh, I don't know. Somebody's phone.
Mr. Host.
Go ahead.
Anyways, ideally right now, sell your house and rent.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know it's a tough rental market, but
would you say like that's your advice? So
that would, if you had a flexible
income, something.
If you had a flexible life, as far as if you have kids that have to be in a certain school district, or like you have kids that are 2 or 3 years left in school and then they're going to graduate and you want to downsize, then I would know. But if you're somebody like, it's just my wife and I, right? And right now I still think the market's going to continue on, but you can't argue that right now is a great time to be a seller in Las Vegas. So ideally, if you say to yourself, you know what, I want to cash out my chips, or I want to take my profit right now, I'm going to put my house on the market. I'm going to take my $200,000 profit, and then I'm just going to go and rent for a couple years, 2 or 3 years, let things chill out, settle out a bit, and then rebuy when it's more of a buyer's market.
Because I was thinking, because I bought in 19, you got all this equity that built up.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, how does this help me? Because I got excited, but what am I going to do? Because I buy and sell.
That's what you do. I told that to my brother back in Wisconsin.
I don't hate it.
I never thought about it. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's go and rent. Yeah. You've got the money and time on your side.
Right.
You can't go broke making profit,
I think a lot of people think, though, here's the thing, though. A lot of people think that they're not going to get the same deal or the rates are going to go up. So I'm not saying that
that's the thing, too.
You have to put that in consideration.
Yeah, so so that's the thing, right? 3 years from now is the interest rates could be, who knows what could be going on. Interest rates could be a lot higher.
Yeah.
And homes may have settled down, but they didn't really go down that much.
Right. I don't think the homes will, because let me explain why. You had back here in 08, 07, right? You had people were buying homes not to live in; they were buying homes to invest in. Everybody and their mother in this entire world.
I know what you're going to say, and yes, I agree with you 100%.
Right, and supply got shot out. 10 years above what it should be, and we still haven't caught up because I'm looking at the numbers from 05, and they're still below how high they peaked in 05, 06.
Yeah, but the difference is there's like 4 times the volume of people moving here than then.
Right, and supply has been contracted, right? So if you look at it from that angle, I'm saying, well, now demand and supply where it's supposed to be. Do we see demand retracting?
Demand
in the next
supply's
5 years.
nowhere where it should be right now.
Well, they're saying
That's the
that
problem.
they're
I'm talking
saying
about the supply. It got reversed.
Yeah,
right?
I
It
got you.
reversed.
Yeah, 100%. So, you know, that's a valid thing. I mean, I don't know anything about the future other than if you want to maximize your profit right now, and now's the time to maximize your profit, and you've got the position after you do so to then decide what you want to do. Now you take the risk of buying back 3 years from now, 4 years from now, whatever it is, or a year and a half, whatever it is, with a market that didn't really decrease much, and now the interest rates are a lot higher. I mean, that
So if you took,
could happen, you know?
if you took $200K in your pocket, Zach, what would you do with it? What would you invest? What would you do with it? Basically, we're trying to beat what you would make in anticipated appreciation, right?
I tell you
With
right now
other
what I'd do with
investment
it.
Tools. So, well,
Stick
what's
it all
out
in
there?
crypto.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's our answer right there.
Well, let me say
I take
this.
150
No,
of it. Yeah. Well, you just can't go wrong.
Yeah.
See, that's a tough question because I don't know. There's a few things I want.
Well, I think it has to go case by case. If you have a house that you're going to be as a primary residence or need as a primary residence, what if you got a family? Then you have to find. It doesn't matter at that point.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
You could overpay or whatever you need to do. Get in there. Also, too, in this market, you have to have that conversation with your buyer. It's, hey, you know what? You're paying 20 above, but we're going to go ahead and say that it could drop too by 20. But does it matter? If you need a home for your
and
family,
that's what I'm saying is with these buyers that are moving here, it doesn't matter.
right?
Because even if they are paying 20 or 30
Correct.
grand over, it's still the cheapest thing they've ever seen.
Right.
And they own it cash. They're not going anywhere. They don't care if it drops some.
Right.
They see like where they come from.
Yeah.
It's relative, man.
No, I get it. So when you look at the credit situation with a lot of these people, a lot of people don't understand where the starting point is at to get approved. And then they also don't know where to go to get help. Now, Credit Karma and all these things, we've just talked about it. They don't necessarily give you a path of how to fix your credit. They'll tell you where your credit's at. They'll tell you with a different algorithm how good your score is. A lot of times they're taking the highest score, though, and not the middle score, which you're judged by a loan officer or a lender.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, I always say conventional loans is the way to go, but you also have to know, am I going to qualify for mortgage insurance? If I got somebody yesterday, I had somebody
Explain to somebody the difference of why it's important to not have mortgage insurance versus to have it, as far as cost and what mortgage insurance is for.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point.
100
I
extra,
think
right?
I think when you look at mortgage insurance,
So what is mortgage insurance? What's it for?
it's to protect the lender, right? It's
Right.
in
So the
case
lender
something
says
happens.
because you're doing less than
Right.
than 20% down, you're more of a risk to us.
Absolutely.
Therefore, we're taking out insurance on that risk.
Yeah, and
correct.
yes, conventional loans.
So that's post mortgage insurance PMI.
Correct.
That would add on how much on a payment.
Well, it depends, and this is our good point here. Is if you have a credit score below a 680, then you're probably not going to have a good insurance rate because they quote everything off. It's credit score driven.
Yeah, of course.
So all conventional loans are credit score driven.
So you could pay realistically $200-300 more for a payment on something with
100%.
with mortgage insurance.
100%.
So your normal mortgage payment would be say $1,500. Now it's $1,800.
Yeah.
Just to have the insurance, just for you to get the loan because of the risk you.
Yeah,
you
it's
have.
the risk. And then so now look, you have a low score. Now you have a higher in mortgage insurance. You have a higher rate. Now your mortgage, instead of it being like $2,500, for example, on on a loan, now you're jumping it on the normal. If you were at a 740 or higher, you might be at $2,800. 25. So it might be additional $300 a month. And then
Could
guess what?
be over 40 grand for 30 years. at
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
And now you got to take all of that in consideration when you're
then
buying this house.
You wait until the market, you have equity in the house, and as soon as you have 20% equity, then you refi and you take away the.
Good
But
point.
then you're paying closing costs to refi.
Yeah, but
So if you can
the
get there,
overall amount that you're saving.
What if rates
And a
go
lot of
up,
times
though?
they can- yeah.
What if rates go up, right? So,
So
now
many
you're waiting
variables.
6 months. Yeah, I mean, the thing is this. Nobody has this, like, hey, this is what you need to do. We can tell you this is how things are judged.
I usually carry my crystal ball in my car, and then I just break it out when people
right?
say, "Here's what's going to happen. Just trust me."
Yeah, right. So
I'm a realtor.
When you go back to credit, there's a lot of changes that goes on with credit. We had one recently where, post-COVID, there's a lot of updates that goes on where if you have like an authorized user account, You need to show you're making payments. You can't just add somebody right away just to get approved. There's loopholes and stuff that lending used to do. So when you go back and you look at credit, it's important to if I ask somebody, I said, what's your credit score? And they go, I don't know. Chances are they don't have good credit or it's not great credit, right? And it's just because people that take care of their credit usually have a real impact on looking at this every day. They have some type of, Credit Karma app or something.
Yeah.
But again, it's not necessarily the same algorithm. Every company has a different algorithm.
Right. But I think if you're talking about credit and you pull up a 650, let's say that's your credit. Look, two things going on. Either you have some sort of debt that you haven't taken care of, that you know of, because it's going to be your credit card or default. You're not going to be able to get it up until you get that handled. Okay. But if it's still a 650 and you don't really have debt, well, then you got random junk on there. And frankly, it's not that hard. It doesn't really take that long of a time to just clear that up. You might have to contact whoever put that on there.
Yeah.
There are law firms that would do that for you. I wouldn't recommend it because it's not that difficult. Because usually they just go, okay, take it off. A couple months, you can get up in the 700s.
Yeah, but do they really do the help too? You know what I mean? Like, do they really? Is it they're getting paid, so why not prolong it? Like for me, I get nothing out of it other than the loan, right? But until they get approved, I'm going to give you the quickest path to get there because I want to get that loan closed.
Right.
So for attorneys or people like that, what if they came back and said, you know what? I'm not saying that they're going to give the wrong information, but it might be, is it necessary?
Well, I didn't recommend going to an attorney. That first step I said was just do it on your own, right?
Yeah.
You see on the report who has it there, call them up. They should take it off. If they give you a bunch of junk, then you may need to get some sort of legal professional to get it off. As far as bad attorneys, there's a lot of them. So I don't do that. I always put, hey, client's interest first. I'm not going to sell you a bunch of junk. But yeah, you got to know what you're doing when you hire a professional to help you because you make a good point, Dan. A lot of people are going to string you along and make money.
It's foreign
language.
language
in every profession.
Credit's foreign language to people. A lot of times.
That's why someone like a lender or a realtor or an attorney or whatever it is or an accountant. You go with somebody once you get that somebody that you can trust. Yeah.
And
you stay with them, dude.
And never hire a new professional until you have somewhat of an education on what issue. Yeah. You're not going to be a master, but have an idea of what it is they need them to do. Don't walk in blindly.
Right. I've referred numerous people in my past to people that would help with their credit. Most of them didn't do what they said. And I'm not saying everybody out there is terrible, so you can do your work.
No,
there's some people out there.
I've done my share of that too.
Yeah.
Where I send someone, I'm like, dude.
Well, let's say somebody put some ding on your credit a couple years ago and it wasn't right, or maybe they forgot about it. I would say call them up, right? Figure out who they are, whatever. Get them on the phone. And then if they just don't respond, or if they just, whatever, we'll get to it, or no, we're not going to do it, then you may need an attorney in that situation, but you know exactly what you need him to do versus oh, my credit's down, fix it all. Don't do that. Take things into your own hands with every aspect of your life, whether it be accounting or legal or whatever. Because attorney can't guess, an accountant can't guess, right? And he's going to charge you for that guessing, by the way.
Zach, what are your thoughts? Have you dealt with people that have some credit issues? What do you explain to them? I know you have some clients. I mean, do you say, well, just talk to the lender, or do it on your own, or do you have some type of process or system that you tell them to go off of?
Well, I mean, kind of like you said. First of all, I asked, I'm like, hey, so do you know your credit score? Do you know what could be on your credit?
Right.
And either, they'll tell me, oh, well, I have this. And usually if they're more aware of the situation and what's going on, it tends to work out better because, like you said, they have an idea going into it, right? But other times, you get people that are like, oh, I don't know. I check my Credit Karma once in a while, and they don't even know their credit score.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's kind of tough. Obviously, you kind of want to, paint the picture for them and tell them, all right, well, it could be a number of things. Like, do you have any debt?
Well, first thing we need to do is get you over to a lender.
Right.
Because we don't want to be sending you homes that you qualify for a lot more, but I'm sending you a lot less.
Right.
Right, of course. Yeah, I mean, I never...
This is the way to get them over is like, hey, man, we got to have a ballpark figure.
Of course.
Like...
I never like sending homes to people if they haven't talked to a lender yet because, I mean, I don't want to send them... $450,000 house and they absolutely fall in love with it, or a couple homes that they love.
In this market, you just need to say, listen, if you're serious about buying, homes go right away. Yeah. When I mean right away, I mean that day, and you need to have a pre-qual letter from a lender in place, or they're not even going to look at your offer. So If
yeah.
you're serious about
First step.
buying, we need to have everything lined up so that when it's go time, we go.
Oh yeah, first step, 100%. And usually,
And which
it's
is the truth.
Oh yeah, people
No,
know
you
what's
know?
going on. People know what's going on nowadays,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's a little easier, to go ahead and send them over to a lender because you can just say, hey, look, like homes aren't lasting. You don't want to find something you like and then you're not approved, and 2 days later it's gone.
Yeah.
So I mean, usually it's. But like I said, I don't like sending homes to people that don't have a pre-approval letter in the first place because I don't want them to like fall in love with that house and then turns out they're only approved for 350 or like 300,000, whatever the case is.
Well, I just want that, and it's just going into anything is a lot better when they already have the mentality of they're aware
Correct.
of what they're going to be at for payments. They're aware of what things cost instead of, I really like this on pitch, on the internet, and then I get there and the reality is it's going to cost this, and you got to do this, and they're like,
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes it's
Game
like
day.
this. Go ahead. What were you saying, Joe?
I was just saying, suit up for game day, right?
Yeah.
It's time to play.
Time
Yeah.
to play. Yeah.
Get ready.
yeah, I mean, exactly. You just don't show up.
I think too, a lot of people, what they do when they come to me is like, hey, is there a quick fix? And if you got equally good credit and bad credit on your credit report, like it's almost 50-50. Sometimes you just have to reestablish your credit, right? You have to open up a credit card. You have to just play the game and put the time in and make your payments. And I think people just don't understand that sometimes it's not a quick fix, yet people will tell you, hey, you know what? We can help everybody. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you got to keep
Right.
making your payments for 6 months.
That was my point. Spend some time, not crazy amount of time, educate why it is saying what it is, right?
Right.
You might be right, Dan. If you're 20, right, you haven't been around long enough to really get your credit up in the 800s.
Correct.
Right? It's not, probably shouldn't be buying a house to be
Right.
Yeah.
totally, unless you got some cash. Right?
Yeah.
But
Well, let's segue to
you should get about getting a real job and a career, and get that little underway, little foundation.
Wanna
down
say
before you
this
start
last
buying
thing.
a house, Dan.
what do you think about Credit Karma? Talk to you, Joe. What do you think about it? Do you use it a lot? I mean, is it something that you are like, hey, you know what? I'm skeptical, or apps in general, where you're like, do I really look at this and say, this is legit? Like, I feel like, they're not inflating it or it's accurate. Because a lot of times things aren't updated on the credit report or on the actual credit score because it takes time. Every Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, they all report differently, right? When they update that
Listen,
account.
if the world doesn't revolve around me, they can kiss my ass.
I love that look. What about you,
I mean,
Joe?
I haven't. Here's the thing: I'm not taking out. I mean, I used Credit Karma. 2 years ago when I bought the house, right? To see where that was at. And
Was that accurate to what your score
See,
was?
here's the thing: the score. I don't know. I don't know how. Frankly, I don't know. 752. How you putting that together? And it goes like this all the time for no reason. But the report will give you what you're looking for is that report attached. Every credit agency has that same report.
Yeah.
And they should be the same, right? So however they're generating that number, they're generating off the facts in the report. So as long as Credit Karma is giving you that, I don't think you need to subscribe to them for $30 a month every month. I don't know what that gets you. Just follow your report. That's
It gets
what you
you
need.
to give them money to build their business.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, so
It absolutely is true.
Well, let me
Smart
say
on
this.
their end,
well, look, let me say this.
just
So
not the consumer end.
your credit score, when you look at your credit score, though, and let's say you want to increase it, there's different ways to do it, but people don't need that simulator. And I want to just explain that because a lot of times people have no direction. They don't know where to get started, and it's like you have a 7, I don't know, whatever it is, your top tier.
952.
There you go, 952. But a lot of people don't know
check
how
it.
to get started. And I think that the people that have had blemishes,
Well,
they don't really know what to do at that point.
That's what I'm saying. That number means nothing to me. What number means nothing? Look at the report generated, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your starting point, right? That's going to give you the facts of what your loans outstanding are every time you've been deemed, and that's where they're generating their arbitrary number for. So that's your starting point. Look at that, read it. Any questions you run into, look it up. We got
Yeah.
Google. It's going to tell you what that means. So I think that's the starting point
Yeah.
if you want to put your credit up. And then start going from there. If you need to call somebody or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's sad to say, and I'm not saying that everybody's this way, so not everybody out there, I'm not going to sit there and throw stones, but I'm going to say about 70% of people that get the credit simulator don't do what the credit simulator tells them to do. And they end up never getting a home. And I think it's because they're discouraged, or maybe they just feel that there's too much work.
It starts at a young age, though, that mentality, really. When I was in kindergarten, I was going to be president of the world. I settled for a realtor.
Good call.
I mean, think about it. How many
think it's a
people
better job.
are going to do this, this, and this in life, and how many actually do it?
Yeah. Zach, so what do you...
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's has great
But
intentions.
That's always a good because
Why do you think late night infomercials sell? Oh, I'm going to work out tomorrow and do my thigh master and lose my 300 pounds.
Master.
And then you die of a heart attack 2 years later.
and I think a part of that is
Whoa, that took a dark turn.
I think a
What
part
did
of
we
that
heard
is-
last
Yeah,
time?
I told you I've had a hell of a week. Whatever.
When is... Dude, have you guys heard... When is the last time you heard of a thigh master? Like, it's got to be, what, 10
Suzanne
years?
Summers,
Oh, that's
dude.
the spring, right in the middle.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Oh my god,
That was like '94. So you were
I was.
So you're
I was 3
you're a
years from
sparkle
being
in
a
your
thought.
mom's eye.
Yep.
or
Yeah.
the ab shockers.
Yeah, dude.
I got really lazy there.
Brett, how old are
Susan
you?
Powder.
It's just funny. So let's go ahead and segue to...
Insanity.
Let's go to
I'm 45, brother.
Insanity.
home affordability declining today.
I'm the
All
right age.
And we all see that this is declining quite a bit. And I want to talk about why home affordability is falling, right? It's people cannot, really afford these homes. You look at this right here, 3.5% of people have their wages increased, but the mortgages are going up 5%. I would think that's a bigger number here, right? Because it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that you look at Las Vegas, that's got to be like 10%.
Yeah. So I've showed you. That's my whole thing about the first thing that I show people when they say, "Why do you buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrency?" I look at
Rate of return.
the rate of return from 1970 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it goes straight down, and you look at it goes like this. Like that's the thing is so. It doesn't really matter if you're making a little bit more or this and that. The cost of living is so much more.
Yeah.
And the cost of inflation is so much more now that every year your value is literally going down for what you hold.
Look at this.
You could have your 50 grand in your bank
Yeah.
is going to be worth less still being 50 grand 5 years from now than right now. And you've done nothing, dude.
Yeah,
Right.
look at this chart. This chart is crazy right here because you look at this median family income and the qualifying income. I think that's a big separation right there. And
For what is it? Medium family and
Yeah.
qualifying income.
Yeah, that's big right there. And
What do you mean qualifying for what? For a loan?
Yeah, qualifying income. So you look at it
Gotcha.
and you say, where are we at today? Fourth quarter, we declined significantly. February, they also had where home affordability was declining. And I'm just thinking,
Look at Northeast. They're always expensive.
is it going to
Take
be...
your 300-year-old homes and shove it up your ass. It's Benjamin Franklin, mother.
So what do you think, man? You think that you're a realtor out there and you see the struggles.
Not in Philly. I would never be in that brotherly love town. No, I'm just kidding. What's that?
I said you're out there and you're seeing the struggles, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think, man? You think that...
Dude, I mean, here's the problem is there's just... On my end, it's not so much people qualifying for loans. It's the price point, right? What you're getting now for your price point isn't what it was even a year, 2 years ago.
People are getting priced out of the market.
So there's a lot of people who see these homes or have been seeing these homes, from like Chuck's videos that are from a year ago. And it's like, dude, that home says like $590 base price. And they're thinking, I'm getting this new home with all these upgrades and a pool for $590. And it's like, I show them that house is like $1 million. And so then what they actually see for $500 or $600, like a year ago, was like, it could still get 8 out of your 10 on your checklist.
Yeah.
Now it'll get you like 4.
Yeah, so you look at these old videos, you look at these
So-
old properties that you're seeing.
But that's only
Yeah.
a year or 2 years ago, man. It's insane. You know,
You look at
but it's
these-
like, so they just don't want to buy then because they're like, man, I'm getting half of the home of what I thought I was getting.
Yeah.
And they literally just stop talking
Yeah.
and communicating. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
that's my problem right now, man, across the board.
What about you, Zach? You having the same issue? I mean, look at these people. Like he was just saying, it's a good point. Is home affordability is obviously declining, and people are looking at this, going, "Hey, I can qualify for this." But by the time that they look at that home, 2, 3, 5 months later, that increase of appreciation. We have a realtor right now that appreciated his home is still being built, and he's got 51,000 equity.
Dude,
And it's not even done.
Bill Young
Yeah.
closed on, what was it? Not Lennar, but what was Westcott? It was a community in Summerlin, right? They're closing out the community. He bought his house. They closed on it 3 months ago, and they're selling that same house on the same lot, whatever it is, for like 35 grand more right now. He goes, yeah, my house has increased 35 grand in 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, it's uncharted waters as far
and that's
as the
what
inventory.
I mean. So he got lucky in a sense of his timing. I mean, he knew he was buying in a market that was going up.
Yeah.
But, that's perfect timing, dude.
Yeah.
Within 2 months.
Right. No, I mean, it's uncharted waters right now where we see this appreciation going on. And Zach, you're going through it too, right, with clients, right?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, people getting priced out of the market. I had somebody, they had an approval up to, it was $300,000. So, I mean, obviously a lower price point. And man, I was shopping them around in like December. They went from wanting like a nice 3-4 bedroom. And then they're like, is there any 5-bedroom homes, 2,000 plus square feet? I'm like, for under $300,000, I'm like, you're really not going to find anything.
Yeah,
I found 2 houses, right? And by the way, they were also asking for closing costs. I was able to negotiate all that stuff.
Wait a second. You got closing costs in this market?
Well,
this is like
in December.
Oh, in December. Okay.
I was about to.
Okay.
Damn! I was
Guru here, man.
No, seriously,
He
so,
calls
like,
him up. He's like, I'm from
Does that
Cactus.
seller? Does that seller have any more homes?
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know,
like, I'm
man.
living
I don't
at
know.
the Cactus, sir.
Oh yeah, I'm living at the
You
Cactus.
Show me some respect.
I got all the
Waive
closing
those
costs.
I need
closing
to support
costs.
my cactus lifestyle.
So like I was able to negotiate closing costs, and he was just, I don't know whether he just didn't want to pull the trigger because I don't know what the deal was.
Messed
But
up,
anyway, he wanted to wait on it. So he waited.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Terrible idea.
I've been doing this for 16 years, and that shit right there is what wears you down as a realtor.
Oh, yeah.
That'll make you buy all this business.
Well-
Is that buyer right there?
what
Oh,
is
100%.
what is
Dude, I'm telling you, I don't even have a good one. That's how I don't even.
Oh man.
Dude,
What do you mean?
Well, I told him. I'm
Because
like, look.
dude, they
well
don't
explain
have any
explain
money.
what you mean by
They don't
that.
have any money for a reason. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but you know what?
Anyways,
Don't you think everybody wants to buy a home and they're just it's what they have and they're just doing what they can? I mean,
it's-
everybody deserves a shot, right?
Absolutely. Whether people are smart enough to recognize or not, it's a different story.
Right. I mean, I told him.
I think everybody has an equal right to everything in this world. Don't get me wrong.
we could have locked
I think
him in
life
on
takes care of
something-
it.
We could have locked him in on something pretty sweet, right? Like I said, for under $300,000, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. It was like 2,200 square feet, and we're getting him closing costs, right? A VA buyer.
Dude.
He wasn't going to put like anything down. And he was just hesitating. And I told him, I'm like, look, with the way the market's
he doesn't
going right now.
understand, yeah.
Right. I was like, look, I study homes and prices every day, so I know what's going on in the market. And the way the market's going right now, it doesn't show any sign of slowing down. You're going to get priced out of the market. And look what happened. Ended up not buying a house. I told him.
That's what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
I've had that buyer 20 times over before in 16 years, that's what ends up happening. Because
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, I bet you he didn't. I knew what
Nope.
the end result was going to
Oh,
be,
yeah.
because it's always the same. And that's what I'm saying.
Well, let's get a different
it's the same
perspective.
people are like, I'm waiting for the market to go down. I'm waiting for the market to go down. Guess what? They never make any money in life because they're always waiting for the market to go down.
Yeah, I mean, let's get a different
Dude, I'm
perspective.
telling you, they know it more than the
I want to say
professionals.
this. Let's ask Joe. Okay, so Joe's a person that's not in real estate. He's an attorney, and I understand. That there's certain things that you want to obviously prioritize. Not wasting time. And what they're saying is they want to make sure that everybody understands the market, understands the challenges.
I understand what they're saying, yeah.
What do you think, though, man? You think that if you were a buyer like that, would you?
Here's
be,
the thing. If realtors were set up like attorneys, where these clients had to pay us ahead of time, they wouldn't be pulling that shit. That's where attorneys have it right. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What are your
I
thoughts on
agree.
it?
I agree.
It's true.
Ask this question. What's the rental? What's going on with the rental average rate the last year?
It's up
increasing.
like 12%.
Up
Right.
like 12. What do you think do you think it has a peak?
Same thing with real estate
I
right
get-
now. It's demand. Everything has a peak eventually. And I don't
guess
think
what
anything
I'm
goes from
saying-
0 to 100 overnight.
I guess
but
what I'm saying is, all right, so from my perspective, if you've got, you're afraid of not getting in a house, not having a place to live, well, not really, but not getting in that appreciation thing going
Yeah,
on.
move to the Cactus.
I mean, look at what you're making.
enjoy the
look at,
cactus lifestyle.
look at your budget or whatever, and just kind of understand there's opportunities to make money in different areas too. What I see with the real estate, it's like everybody's trying to buy the same thing and buy the same things. Like if everybody tries to buy the same stock, it's going to shoot up, right?
Yep.
So just kind of what is your percent in return versus a house or some other type of investment, and how do you play that in? You're not gonna necessarily lose out if you don't have a house that you own. You can make it up in other ways too. That's just kind of.
I get
That's
your-
what I'm, that's
yeah,
what I'm
that's a good
saying.
point.
And then then there's okay. So then you rent, you sell, and you rent. Say that scenario. Then what's your timing of getting back?
Well,
Is it like that's what I'm saying? Is yeah,
because
that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
want the landlord jacking it up every 12 months.
Absolutely. So
Pass.
that's the thing. But then it's also more of a temporary thing than owning a home.
Right.
Maybe a year lease, but
you got to look at it too.
You're
Look.
an attorney. You could get out of that if you want to. Just.
Not that easy.
I'm not saying you would, but I'm just saying.
Let's
I
look
got
at
nobody
it.
to charge.
Anytime I hear from an attorney, all ears are open, man.
Every time I charge myself, I got like a 3% credit fee. That just gets lost. So
Let's look at it like this, and I want to say it this way. You know what? A lot of people don't know what to invest into. I had a show this last Tuesday that had a lot of information about where you should invest. Is buying a home the right thing to do?
All you need to do is tell them cryptocurrency.
Well, let me say this. That's not the save all. And a lot of times
Yes,
people
it is.
hold on, I'm going to say something. A lot of times people need a place to live. Would you rent or buy a home? I would buy a home. Now, I think cryptocurrency and all these other things is a luxury. This is extra money that you have that you don't need for your family to be supported, and you don't have to have a place to stay. So there's a lot of people. I mean, again, if you're going to buy an investment home or a secondary home, a vacation home, then you can weigh out the pros and cons.
Here's where I would be right now. Here's where I would be in this town. If I was moving here right now, and I knew I was going to be here for at least another 4 or 5, 6 years, and I was in a position to buy, I would buy right now. Because I think the market's just going to keep on going up.
Right, and there's
if
nothing
I'm someone
stopping it.
who's owned a home for a little bit of time here, then between now and the next year is a good time any time to say. If you want to maximize your profit, then I would say, hey, I understand maximizing your profit and sell and then rent out.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it just
And
depends
you
on what your
may-
position is, really.
I mean, you may lose that opportunity where with these houses,
Yeah.
prices go so high that the average family, not even the average family, above average family can't do it.
Yeah.
I know that because in San Diego and LA, that's what happened.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, that's what happened.
But
they didn't care.
my
the
argu-
market didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to
And-
outpace you.
and
Either you pay
that's
it
what
up
I'm
or you
going to
don't.
say. But so I understand that, and I'm conscious of that. It's just I think that gap is still so wide right now to
Yeah.
where it would have to go before that happens. That we still got a long ways to go.
I do too, but I'm saying it's not impossible. It happens.
Oh, of course.
all over.
Just like when I
Seattle-
moved here 12 years ago, I knew Vegas was going to be the shit someday because look around. Every valley sooner or later gets filled.
Right. And
I mean, it's
they're
Only
pushing
time.
hard for MLB team, right?
Yeah.
And I don't really know sports how much money that brings. The point is,
a ton.
this city, I think, has the capacity to double.
100%. And
Double in size.
now that everybody has seen the way that the city embraced the Golden Knights,
Yeah.
Amazing.
dude, it's like who
number one team in
doesn't
the
want to
NHL?
have their team part of that?
The Knights make more than any other team in the franchise, and they're the best team.
Yeah.
and they're the most
Dude,
embraced.
and no one does it like a Vegas team when they're coming out
Yeah.
like
It's them and the Maple Leaves
Yeah.
that have the.
yeah.
Well, I think it's like this too. So we're going back. Let's talk about the home affordability declining. Where do you think that average median price home will be? And do you think maybe in the next year or two, unless you're putting down a large amount of money, or you're trying to buy at $400,000 or $500,000 on the home, are you even going to be in a market where you can buy in this type of Las Vegas market? That's what I'm looking at, because if home affordability is going down, and it's probably increasing at a rapid pace here in Las Vegas.
If you're coming here from Cali, the home prices are still cheap. It's no
Yeah.
issue.
And
if you live here and have lived here for a while, then absolutely, it's starting to get to a point where
I don't think it will ever reach Cali levels because Cali.
Yeah. It
It's
still
San
has the
Diego's
ocean,
probably
yeah.
the most awesome place, and
it's beautiful.
It's just you're gonna pay a premium in Vegas, like a desert, like that. It's not gonna, and we have room and we're a suburb, but I think it will get high because you got 26 million people over there.
yeah,
They're coming here in Phoenix. It's the closest spot.
what about you,
Yep.
Zach? What do you think?
absolutely.
You know what? Yeah, I'll just pick up off of what they're saying. I mean, I definitely do think for people that have lived here for a while, I mean, I'll use my dad as an example. Like, he purchased a home back in I want to say like 10 years ago, right? It's in Anthem Highlands, right?
It was 11 years ago. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, Zach.
I can't remember. I was young. Anyway, he purchased a house and bought for $260,000. That house is probably worth $500,000 right now.
Guarantee it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but I mean, you look at too, like, you look at this affordability situation, and you look at internally. If properties start to open up where people start to list their home, I think it gives them that cycle factor where you can either upsize or downsize and then sell your house and still be able to afford and buy that, because you might
One will give to the other. Yeah.
Right, one will give to the
One
other.
will open up the other.
So that
Yeah,
might be
absolutely.
that might be a position when we start to see that going. Now, obviously, if rates go up, I think that's going to be also a contributing factor of there's going to be more inventory. People are going to start,
And that's my whole point is like, everyone's like, what's the solution? Solution is more damn listings on the market.
That's it.
I mean, it's real simple, dude.
That's it.
Because you're still going to have, because that demand and supply is so uneven right now.
Oh, yeah.
That even when you have more homes come on the market, it's not going to happen overnight. And by the time that trickles down and starts to get a little more even, we're looking at a year, dude.
Yeah.
Every commodity follows the same. Same
absolutely.
rules.
And they're saying too that we're going to be declining about 6.5% on purchases. Why? Because there's not inventory. There's no inventory on this year.
And then you have a lot of people who are looking to purchase before, and they're from here, whatever, like to buy, and they're like, either they're priced out or like, I'm just going to chill.
Yeah.
I've done that before where I've run myself ragged, showing buyers in markets a couple years ago that were like that, and they ended up just not buying. Oh, we're just going to rent and see now. Great. You're going to send me a check? No? Oh.
Right. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We've been on here about an hour, so.
Oh, wow, already?
Yeah, it just went quick, right?
Time flies when you're talking to Brett.
Right.
And eating snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And eating Scooby snacks.
Next time we'll bring the alcohol. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I'm from Wisco. I got that covered.
There you go, buddy. So anyways, appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in with us. If you guys haven't seen any of my past episodes, please do so. If you guys have any comments or you guys want to reach it, we're going to throw something out real quick.
Oh, Dan French, you need to send me last week's tape.
I am. Here we go. I'm going to put out Mr.
Did you hear me?
Joe Red Dragon. Yeah, I'll get you. Joe the Red Dragon over here. He's an attorney. This is his website if you guys want to take a look at that. Good dude, man. He's here every weekend, and he loves and enjoys this, so take a look at him. You guys obviously know my website, and it's already posted, but I'm just going to show you.
Joe's got a whole Wrecking Crew boys working for him, too, if you guys start wanting to get right?
So we're going to go, we're going to end this
That's
show.
not on the record.
We're going to end this show, and you guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and also, that's it, man. You guys have anything last to say? We're going to go over here. Mr. Zach Cactus Life.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
It's Cactus Life, man. That's your new thing, man.
I'm not bringing this anymore. I'm going to bring another Hydro Flask.
You should get a tattoo on your arm. Cactus Life right there. Just
Cactus.
Hey, hold on.
Mr. Brett the Philosopher over here. He's from Simply Vegas. What's up, Mr. Brett the Realtor Philosopher?
I'm going to go philosophize.
Philosophy.
And Mr. Joe.
I'm about ready to get real deep.
Joe the Red Dragon. All right, man. You got anything else to say, Joe?
No. I will say my firm, Dragon Law Group, we are sponsoring a hole at Legacy Golf Course to raise money for ALS. And that's Monday starting at 8. So if anybody can make it, it's a great event.
Cool.
Excellent. You guys, thank you. This is Dan French. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And we'll see you Tuesday at the next stream. You guys have a good weekend. Thank you for watching an episode of the French Workbench podcast. If you want to tune into past episodes, please subscribe to my channel now. Also, if you want to look at our audio-only options, we do have iTunes and SoundCloud.